Hello, I'm Darlene Weintraub, and welcome to our Goucher online course, ED 638C, Special Project in Reading, with a focus on vocabulary. We'll be talking about lots of reading ideas, but specifically, we will focus on vocabulary strategies and methods and techniques. So welcome. I'm just going to take a few minutes and walk through the syllabus. If you don't want to listen to this, and that's your preference for each of the sessions and each week in the modules, I have videos attached as well as I have a PowerPoint. Everything is in the PowerPoint, but if you like both, you can do both. If you like one or the other, sometimes I address things in the videos that I might not specifically have in the PowerPoint. So it's your choice. You decide what you want to do and how you want to take the course, so to speak. So our expectations for the course, tonight we're going to talk about the syllabus, look at the assignments briefly, talk about your weekly reading and look at Canvas, and specifically look at the different modules. We won't do each one. This is an online course, exclusively, and it's 1.5 credits. And each week you will have assigned reading and text. You'll complete activities. I call it the course activity. You'll have discussions. You submit everything on Canvas online. And as I mentioned earlier, there are PowerPoints. And on the activity that you do each week, I have some prompts and questions for you to address or respond to. And then the assignments, there are 2 major assignments in addition to the weekly assignments. And we will talk briefly about those also tonight. So one of the activities you are asked to do a get to know you activity. That's on Canvas, and you're asked to complete that before the end of the first week, just to get to know one another. We're not in class face-to-face, so this is our face-to-face. Switch gears and look at the syllabus specifically and identify some of the areas that I want to draw your attention to. All of the required reading in this course will be text, articles, journal entries, things that I have found, articles that I feel are important for our course. But I certainly give you a few books to suggest that you may include and read throughout the course, or at another time when you don't have to do all of your weekly reading. In the course requirements, there are discussion forums, and they are worth 10 points each week, so that you will be doing those in 6 different week sessions. There are course activities, and there are 4 of those in the different modules or weeks, and they are each worth 25 points. The 2 assignments are worth 175 each, and I have modified and made some changes. So I just want to say right now up front, if I say something on the video and it's not pertinent or not specifically what's on this syllabus or what I've told you to do through our weekly notes and updates, please take the syllabus, because I'm not re-recording all of my videos. So therefore, some of the ideas may be from last time. In fact, it used to be there were 3 major assignments, and the course activities were a little bit different. So each year, each semester I teach this, I change things a little bit. Since it is an online course, there will be no cancellations unless there's some major catastrophe or some weather-related thing that affects everyone's internet access. Your online weeks begin on Monday at midnight or 12 a.m. and end Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And you can see in your syllabus, I have the different topics. Sometimes we address them in reading or text. Sometimes, usually they're always in the PowerPoint, and you will be asked to do certain activities regarding the weekly topics. And then I mentioned there's a discussion forum that you'll do each week. That's listed in your syllabus. The dates are on the side. Your first assignment, the vocabulary strategy mini lesson, is due on April 27th. And your final project is due on May the 11th. I'm going to switch gears, so I'm going to pause this a second and go to our next topic. First assignment is a vocabulary strategy mini lesson. So in other words, you're going to develop a lesson specifically with vocabulary. The directions are on the rubric. And number 1, you're going to develop and write a vocabulary mini lesson for your class. utilizing some kind of a formal lesson plan format. I have and will include some on Canvas, but you can use any lesson plan that you normally would use or would use for an administrator or to share with someone. You're going to teach the lesson to your class or a small group of students, and then after you're going to analyze how the strategy worked, write a reflection. So the specific directions are here. I'm not going to read through them, obviously. More details about what I'm looking for and what you are required to do. In the rubric, you can see I break it down with different points. So for instance, if you have all required information for your strategy, it's identified, clearly defined. You give lots of explanation as to the strategy and how it fits into your reading literature program. You give a comprehensive description of students and purpose, and everything is included. You get 60 points, and you can obviously go down to 0. And then in the second section, for the lesson plan itself, if all of the things that are necessary are included there, you can obtain or earn, 80 points. And then if it's effectively written in your presentation for and submitted, then that is worth up to 35 points. I'm going to scoot back here. And what am I thinking in terms of length? It's just like the kids, how long does this have to be? I don't give you a specific, but I'm thinking it's going to be a couple pages, not more than, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but don't get too long. You're going to hand in your lesson plan, which would be probably a couple pages, and then you're going to address some of those things in your lesson plan, and then others are going to be addressed separately. And we'll talk more about this assignment when it comes closer to the date. Let's look at assignment 2. Assignment 2 is your final project, and you have the last week to work on the assignment and submit it. And in this, you're going to look at 3 vocabulary strategies or techniques or methods that you think help struggling readers. So this is specifically for struggling readers. And then you're going to share information. You're going to choose the strategy from class, from reading, any place that you find that will give you some good ideas from other text. And then you're going to think of a targeted group of students who struggle with reading specifically because of vocabulary. And you're going to research, see if you can find any background or history of the strategy. For instance, there are information that so-and-so, some big name guru in reading was the one who started this, who introduced it, who wrote about it, and then many people are using the strategy, even like the KWL. Some strategies you're not going to be able to find the history. That's fine. But just research, write some names, look at people who have talked about it, who have used it, who have changed it, modified it, and then you're going to write a plan of action explaining your idea. You're going to choose one, and then you're going to write a plan of action explaining your ideas for implementation. All right, I think that concludes that information. Our last section on Canvas, I'm assuming that your course looks the same as mine, and you can see on the left-hand side, we have home, announcements. Please check your announcements weekly. I will put announcements, and sometimes I do make changes. For instance, you might find out some major thing is going on, and so I may change the date or required date for a project or for an assignment. And each week is broken down into modules. This is module 1, so I'm going to go back. This is what your basic page looks like. And in module 1, the first little section, module 1, objectives and outline, it's exactly what that says. If you notice, there's the previous and the next, and I'm just going to move this a little bit, and you can go back or you can go forward pressing those, or you can use your arrow back. So I'm going to use the next and go to the next module, which takes us to module 1 or week 1. So in each module, you'll see I have videos, there are PowerPoints. There's the one big class PowerPoint for each. Oops, I'm going to stop that a second. And then when you click on that, obviously you can download it, you can make a hard copy of it, or if you're like me and you've gotten used to reading things online, you can read it online. Then I break down each session, and there are mini videos. For instance, you can see this one's 2 minutes and 17 seconds, where I take the big class 1 video for week 1 and I break it down into little sections or topics and discuss those. Again, that's in the PowerPoint. If you like to listen, you may listen to the mini lectures, maybe in the beginning. You like to do both, maybe the whole way through. Everyone is different, but you can see each of them. Now, when you open I'm going to minimize that again. They're all here. You can look at it right here, and I'm going to start talking here. Or you can go to YouTube and you can look at it whole screen. So again, that's your discretion, whatever you want to do and what's your learning style. So you can see there's all the mini lectures. That's the way each module begins each week. And then I have the articles. Number 4 says read the article. So everyone is going to read article review of research, looking at the research for vocabulary and reading. And then number 5, you're going to choose one of those to read. So you're going to have 2 different texts to read. And you can see number 6 is the course activity. The course activity, for the most part, is due on Friday night at midnight. And the discussion, there are 2 parts. Let me open up the course activity for you. And you can see there are specifics in the course activity. Thinking, again, you're submitting this online, that it's a page or 2. And I give you quite a few prompts. And in this week, you are to address prompt 1, 2, 3, and 8. So you must address those in your course activity, and then you can choose one more prompt from 5, 6, or 7. And again, that's 25 points. There's the rubric at the bottom. All right, I'm going to go back. And then in your discussion, if you open up your discussion, you'll see I usually have a quote, give you some tips of what to include. Sometimes I'm very specific, sometimes they're more general, and really that we're sitting in class and having a discussion. Each week that you do a discussion, it's worth 10 points, and you're going to respond by midnight on Saturday with an initial post. After you do your initial post, then you'll be able to read everyone else who is also posted. And you can do that anytime during the week, as long as it is posted by midnight on Saturday. And then by midnight on Sunday, you are supposed to respond to 2 colleagues. Now, what am I expecting in a response? Well, first of all, I want it to be thoughtful, maybe insightful, asking a question. If someone shares a specific idea they've used in class and talked about how it worked with the students with whom they're working, then you might have a question about it, or you might say, oh, I've used that too, and this is what I did. So think about and respond professionally, but also be thoughtful and think about the fact that if you were face-to-face, what would you say in a class discussion? All right, I think that kind of concludes our topics and giving you a big picture of our course. Thanks so much, and I look forward to working with you, and I am excited to learn along with you more ideas and more strategies for teaching our students. Thank you.